All right, man, Torture Talk. Bars Wrestling Media. S got bars. You know what it is. We back for another one. You know what I'm saying? And look, man, this one here, we're going to talk about Math Hoffa again. Actually, not Math Hoffa again. We actually going to talk about the whole situation with the FBA. So this is a continuation. If you like that episode, get ready for this one. And we're gonna go through what Matt Hoffa has said about his reaction towards Fat Joe. Before I get into saying, I gotta get a spill. This is Torch Talk. If you like the content, please subscribe. And if you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know to find the ones that just don't harass them. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, link is in the description. Cash App, PayPal, all that good stuff. They call me the Hidden Gem. I went from 1,300 subscribers to over 13,000. And yes, I am the King of the North. Esz Bars is on the line with me. And this is a shared episode, so you can find this episode on Esz Bars channel and Torture Talk channel. So look, make sure y'all go subscribe to him. He will be in the thumbnail and he will be in the description too as well. So look, man, we're going to get right to this, man. No more talking. Let's go.
Should be taking me back, bro. Should be taking me back. I'll be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know Joe, you done mastered that shit. Nori, y'all niggas done mastered that shit. But me, I don't know, bro. Like, and how can I say this? Because I want to address, there's a lot of sensitivity. And I don't want to necessarily upset anyone.
All right. All right, man. Look, I'm going to tell you how I feel about this before we even go any further. There's nothing you can do when it comes to people's feelings. It is what it is. Like, people are always going to be sensitive towards topics. To me, it's become this thing where everybody is so how would I say this? They're so sensitive when it comes to everything. Any and everything you can think of, everybody is sensitive to everything. They don't want to how would I say this? They don't want to let people just have their opinion, or they don't want to actually debate it out. I mean, I don't typically complain about people in my comments. I just don't do that because people have their opinions, and I respect people's opinions if you disagree or agree. But some people take it too far. They take it overboard, and it's like borderline internet bullying and harassing. Not to say they're bullying me or you, but it's just borderline harassment at the point where if you don't agree with them 100%, 101%, then they just don't take what you say into consideration. I just think that's very disgusting. And it's a nasty take way to go about it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, unfortunately for me, sometimes I engage in verbals in the comment section. I really shouldn't, but sometimes I just be like, man, it's funny. Like, honestly speaking, like, nothing they could say like really bothers me. At first it did, you know what I mean? And then when I got into the depths of like content creating, I realized it really doesn't matter what you say or how you say it. People are always gonna be in their feelings. I respect what Math Hoffa is trying to do, but it don't matter. At this point, it don't matter what he says or how he says it. It's not going to curb nobody's feelings. People are going to feel how they feel, and that's just the way it is. So my suggestion to him is just speak his truth. That's just how I'm looking at it,
All right.
I want everyone to leave from watching this video feeling connected and understanding. You dig what I'm saying? My goal is not to divide. My goal is not to to make anyone an outcast, I believe in my heart that we can all achieve whatever we want to achieve when we work together. You dig what I'm saying? When we keep trying to figure out ways on how to separate me from you and you from them and them from that, I don't, that just doesn't, you know what I mean? I don't.
Well, I can answer that briefly. I mean, I'm not gonna stop it too much. I'm gonna talk, but I'm not gonna stop as much. But the reason why it's like that is because most people have this ideology of separation. This whole country is, the ideology is based off of separation. And what I mean by that is down to the video games. Everything is a competition. Everything is a separation. You know what I'm saying? So for example, if I like PlayStation, you might like Xbox. If I like Nintendo, you like Sega.
Mm-hmm.
If I like Kendrick, you like Drake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I like Republican, you like Democrat. If I like Bloods, you like Crips. You know what I'm saying? Like if I like the Eagles, you like the Falcons. You know what I'm saying? So it's embedded in people so much that everybody thinks that everything is a competition. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's a competition. Even when it comes down to people's opinions, it's a competition. It's like they fighting for your fighting for your opinion to be on their side. And it's just your opinion. It's like, well, I gotta convince him to be with me. It's like, no, how about you just let them be who they are? You know what I'm saying? So I understand what he's saying when he's saying he want to bring everybody together and not separate. But he gotta understand, like, it's already embedded in people already. That's just what it is.
Yeah, it's something that's been embedded in people since the beginning of time. Actually, like, well, I mean, if you really think about it, it's programmed in our brain. It's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. It's really programmed. It's programmed. It's programmed learning. Like, it's something that you was learning how to do it without knowing that you was learning how to do it. That's just what it is.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah,
I don't adapt the ways of my oppressors. That's not my goal. I don't want to be like the people who we claim have oppressed us for a long time. I don't want to be like that. I never wanted to be like that. I grew up in Brooklyn at a time when hip hop was, the most prevalent, in my opinion. So I guess, where do we start? Where do we start? To the people who have been expressing their outrage towards me, or the people upset by, any comments that was made on a platform, it's not my goal to upset you niggas. It's not my goal. I am confused, though. Like, you can't claim to be about the people and then turn around and insult the same people that you're supposed to be standing up for.
that's exactly what I've been saying about when it comes to certain things in politics. You can't call somebody, you can't say you are 100% about this when it comes to especially black people, and I don't want to get too deep, but then when someone disagrees with you, they're all types of names. They're Coons, they're Sambos, they're Uncle Toms. You get what I'm saying? If you
Yeah.
are for the people, if you're for your people, that means you're for your people, even if you disagree with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't always agree with people on the other side of what I believe, but they're still my people. That's how it goes. I don't subscribe to the there's skin folk, not kinfolk thing. I don't subscribe to that. I think that that's a disgusting way of thinking when it comes to us as black people. So when people criticize him about him not checking Fat Joe, you got to understand his job is he is a commentator. So when I go like same thing when it comes to when it comes to my channel, right? When it comes to my channel, people say to me, "Well, why are you covering this dude? Or why you because that's my job. I'm a commentator. I have to cover things that even if I don't like what they're saying, I have to commentate and I have to cover it. And if I want to give them some pushback, I can. You know what I'm saying? So I understand exactly where he's coming from when he say that. That's very important what he just said. You can't claim to say you want to uplift the people and then you keep the people down that you disagree with. That doesn't make sense. Everybody ain't gonna be yes men.
Yeah, I think I definitely think what he's saying is very important, and I think it gives a lot of clarity on this whole topic because it's like y'all want him to check Fat Joe. Let's be clear, Fat Joe catapulted his podcast. There's certain individuals that played a key factor in his podcasting career. So you want him to check the same guy that helped assist put his podcast on the map. Fat Joe was one of his guests, like first guest. Now, whatever he do behind the scenes, talking to Fat Joe, that's something different. But you wanted him to check Fat Joe live on the air. Like, what is he checking Fat Joe for? That's what I'm saying. What is he checking Fat Joe for?
Wait, so are you saying that because his show been around for a long time? You saying that Fat Joe was one of his first guests ever, or you saying that Fat Joe was one of his guests now and it made his show more popular?
Nah, when in the beginning stages, because I remember him saying it on a video, in the beginning stages of his podcast, Fat Joe was one of the like main guys that was like, pushing his podcast and bringing his podcast to light. And then he got and if we go into this video even further, he would definitely mention it again at some point in this video. Fat Joe was one of the guys that helped catapult his podcast to where it is today. And it wasn't just him. It wasn't just a Fat Joe thing. It was other people's other surrounding pieces. Like he mentioned Eminem. Eminem was another person that like put the stamp of approval. But you know what I mean. But Fat Joe was one of the guys that actually came to the show.
Okay.
So
yeah. I didn't know. I was just clearing it up because I wanted to make sure. But
yeah.
If we have a different point of view, it might be because we're not standing in the same location. All right? I've never claimed to be a hip hop connoisseur or a historian. Y'all could give that title to Mech, Kim, whoever. Y'all give it to somebody else. I've never claimed that. I've been a very popular battle rapper in this shit. I broke into this podcast space unexpectedly. No one saw that coming. You know what I'm saying? I shared a space with the names of artists who've been, presented to the world, had marketing budgets and shit behind them. and honestly, to some, they probably feel like I don't belong here. Like, why do I have a voice, right? What was it about me that made this my expert opinion thing kick off? I couldn't tell you, bro. I'm just being me. If there's anything that you can count on me to be, it's me. I'm not with the fakeness. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with the fakeness. I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel about shit, and if you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me. Okay? Now,
so I want to speak on that real quick. I understand exactly what he's saying. It's one thing that I think people gotta understand is you ain't always gonna agree on everything, right? But what really upsets me is people kind of feel like you have to agree on everything. And what Math is saying right here is he's gonna be him no matter what. And I think that that's the case. But what I really can't stand is when people write people off because they disagree with them on one topic. You know what I'm saying? They like to me, they're like one issue voters or something. You know what I'm saying? Like you vote because of the one thing you can't stand. Or you don't vote because of that one thing. But there's 100 different things on the plate that you gotta take care of. But that one thing, it's like people are so close-minded. So I can't write off Math because he didn't do something I didn't like in one podcast. He did so much other things in his podcast that I do like. So I'm going to write him off because he did one thing I didn't like? That doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Let's just imagine if that's how your family was. For any one thing you did wrong, or your wife, one thing you did wrong, your wife just totally didn't want to talk to you for the rest of the year because you did one, but you did 100 things right. But this one thing you did, you know what I'm saying? I think that that's how people look at it. They so quick to just cut people. But here's the thing. They're quick to cut people, but they'll do the same thing and they won't appreciate getting cut. They'll turn around and do the same exact thing or something similar to that, contradicting or being a hypocrite on something, and they okay with them doing it. But if you do it, it's the end of the world. It's crazy.
Yeah, it definitely is crazy. It definitely is crazy. I mean, how many times have we seen a situation in a relationship where the one person cheats and they still take the person back afterwards? You know what I mean? So if that's the case, if he cheated that one time, you should have got rid of him a long time ago then. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
Me not being a historian, my exposure to hip hop, if I had to say where this poetry over drums originated, I would give that credit to the last poets. Big shout out to those brothers. They were really about unity, right? You could Google them and check their ethnicities or whatever. But that is my perspective because there's no book. Everybody got a different story. Like I don't think it makes a difference in how much I care about this culture, but I get that everybody wants their story to be the story, right? So for me, my exposure, the last poets, that's where this poetry over drum thing started for me. You could say, you know, some of you guys in the comments probably got a different opinion, right? All Caribbeans unite. Yeah, shout out to my Trinidadians, shout out to...
Here's the thing, man. I'm gonna tell you one thing that I think, and again, I told you, I like the foundational black movement. I do. The problem is, you are going to how would I say this? You're going to outcast and separate people from it. It's gonna fail. Because when you say, I'm a foundational black American, and first thing people gonna say is, okay, so what have you done for your country? And a lot of people ain't gonna be able to tell you. You know what I'm saying? They not gonna be able to tell you. As far as what he just said, as far as what he's saying about where hip hop started, for me, I'm gonna put it to you like this: it doesn't matter where it started. It's here. Am I gonna question who created the first car? No, I'm getting in a car and I'm driving. At this point, it doesn't matter because guess what? People in Japan are using it now. So you can say, well, it started with black people. Okay. But it don't matter because people are using it all over the world. So guess what? You can say that you started here and we can sit down and it ain't going to make a difference. It ain't going to make a hill of beans because nobody cares. I'm not saying that nobody shouldn't care. I'm saying that nobody cares. Everybody is going to do what they want to do. If they see something, I'll give it to you like this, right? Reggaeton, right? You hear reggaeton, where reggaeton start at? They say, it started in the Caribbean, right? Or it started in Puerto Rico. I don't know. But you guess what? You still see people use it, and they're not saying, well, it started here. No, it don't matter. I think at this point, hip hop is so big that you can't really even tell nobody where it came from. You know what I'm saying? Where you gonna go to Japan and tell them you ask them, well, who started hip hop? What do you think they're gonna say? They're gonna say black people? No, they're gonna say Americans. That's what they're gonna say.
They're gonna say the Gaijins.
Yeah. They're gonna say foundational black Americans. They're gonna say Americans. Now, again, there's no disrespect to, of course, I'm not disrespecting black people at all. What I'm saying is, I think a lot of times we focus on things that really shouldn't be argued. It's like, one thing is, okay, how if black people created hip hop, right? And everybody's saying they always trying to take something from us, then why we ain't patenting it? Why we haven't done nothing to make it ours for real? Why we didn't do that? Everybody want to talk. Everybody want to talk. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk. Why we didn't patent it? Why we didn't create it to where it's ours and that's it? We want to complain.
And don't bring.
It. Why we ain't do that?
Yeah.
Why we didn't patent it? How about that?
And don't bring up nothing from the past neither, because I know a lot of people in the comment section say, "Well, if you go back in the past, we have invented all these things and we didn't. We ain't talking about the past. We talking about right now."
I don't care if people in the comments say that. So what? So I don't care. I don't care what people in the comments say when it comes to that. My question to everybody in the comments is, how come we didn't patent it? If we created it, why we didn't patent it? Why did the same hip hop historians, why did they run to the white man and give it to the white man? Why didn't you say, you know what? I'm not gonna get this. I'm keeping this for myself. Why did we do that? You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to talk, but why? Did they put a gun in your head and make you rap? Because no, I don't think they did that. As you saying that we were stupid enough to fall for the trap. That's what you're telling them. That's what y'all saying? That black people was dumb enough to fall for the trap. Oh, they told us some things and they lied to us. Well, it's the nature of the beast. So you can't complain about it if we didn't patent it. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, if it was something like, if it was something that you was playing around with, or they was playing around with, then he can't take it serious because they was playing around with it. That's how I feel. I know people probably think, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I know. But my thing is, if you were serious about it, if everybody was so serious, they should have patented it. And then it would have been theirs, and it would have been ours. But you left it up for interpretation, and everybody can use it. So you can't say who made it first when everybody's using it. You don't really know. Nobody's going to go and look. Nobody's going to care. Yeah. Nobody's going to care. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, you're right. You got a point.
Barbadians. My mother, she's from Barbados. My father also. I was born here in Brooklyn. Shout out to all my Jamaicans. Shout out to all my Guyanese. Shout out to, TNT, Grenadians. Shout out to all the West Indians. Shout out to all the African Americans. Shout out to all the Puerto Ricans. Shout out to all the Dominicans. Shout out to everyone who has played a role. The white boys. Shout out to everybody. I'm not the exclusion guy. If we're telling a story and we getting our facts straight, that's cool. But if everyone has a different opinion on how this thing originated, then you can't really judge people for having things a little bit fuzzy, right? It's not like there's a hip hop.
That's 100% facts. These things was passed down. You don't know who did what. That's why I keep saying, nobody has no evidence of this. Everybody's talking, but nobody has any evidence.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know when, you know, I'm gonna tell you why I believe that hip hop is basically up for interpretation and people. You ever played the game Kick the Can?
Yeah.
Okay. You ever been to California?
No, I haven't been to Cali.
How do people know in California about Kick the Can?
It became a global thing. Like, you know, like people word of mouth, you know, like it became a global thing, and then people start hearing about it. It's sort of like we talking about, you know, Kick the Can. It's sort of like hack and sack. You know what hack and sack is, right? The little fuzzy ball, start kicking it with back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. So the point I'm making is nothing's new under the sun. People have people's brain sometimes work in unison and they don't even know. You get what I'm saying? So you might discover something and think that you discovered something, but somebody in New York discovered the same thing. You might have said something and thought that you made a new word out of a word that's already existed, but somebody in New York did the same thing. You know what they say? Oh, we've been doing that. Oh, we've been saying that. You go down south and you say something and they say something and you say, oh yeah, we used to say that 5 years ago.
yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So certain things are discovered different from at certain times. But to trace things back to its origin is very difficult, especially when it comes to black people, when we usually have the same type of mind state. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't point in at a certain person or a certain time period and say, yeah, these are the people who made it and we have documentation of it, you have to go off of what else is there. And then guess what?
Right.
If Fat Joe or whoever got documentation that Puerto Ricans or whoever was a part of creating hip hop, then who are you to say that they didn't? If he has the paperwork, if he don't have the paperwork, then he's in the same boat as Lord Jamal to me. You know what I'm saying?
The one thing that I want to point out too with this whole situation, right, is that, you know, it's something that we had spoke about in the previous videos. So on Google, we're gonna go back to the Google thing. In Google, it said African Americans, Caribbeans, and Latino Americans. So let me get this proper, right? So it's Google, whoever put that on Google, because let's be clear here, like something has to be, in order for it to get up on Google or Wikipedia or whatever, somebody either had to send that in or it's something that had to be trending for a long period of time for it to catch wind, for it to be posted there. So, okay, so if that's the case, then who's lying? Is Google lying? Is the people that was in the documentary lying? Somebody got their facts mixed up, you know? And another thing, if you go look into the middle of it, everybody's story's different. He just said, huh?
Go ahead.
Everybody's story's different. Math just said not too long ago that his personal opinion, the last poets, that's the ones that started it for him. So for somebody else, it might be something different. For this person, it might be different. For that person, it might be different. So at the end of the day, like we said, nobody really knows. It's just off of speculation. This is what happened at this given time, at this date. That's it.
Let me ask you this. What did Google say again?
Google said African Americans, Caribbeans, and Latino Americans in the Bronx and New York.
Then Google's going off of alphabetical order.
Okay.
Because African Americans is A, Caribbean is C, and Latino is L. That could be
Okay.
alphabetical order. Now, also could be they're naming all of them because you're not going to say minorities.
That's true.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So let's just keep it going because I'm not going to play too much more of it, but let's keep it going.
History book or something like it. I don't know. Maybe it is. Who knows, right? But for me, this hip hop thing has never been about race. At least, I mean, not to me. I mean, despite the fact that blacks dominated, you know, and at times used this art form to uplift our culture, right? I never looked at hip hop as just it is black culture. I never saw it as that. Because correct me if I'm wrong, my great grandparents didn't listen to hip hop, and I wouldn't say that they didn't have no culture. So I never, you know what I mean? I knew it was the offspring of black culture, black and brown culture, but I never looked at it as this is just the black culture. You know what I mean? I never looked at it like that. I could be wrong. You know, some of y'all could have a difference of opinion. I'm just telling you how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I think that's a mistake that he's making right there. People can have a difference of opinion, and I'm gonna stop doing this. I'm gonna stop saying I could be wrong. It's how I feel. This is how I feel. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people get it mixed up because they read the comments or they read what people saying on the screen, and people will say, "Oh, you're tripping," blah, 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 and they react off of that. No, I think he's right for saying what he's saying. He didn't know. It is what it is. That was what to him. That's what it was.
Yeah, if that, like I said before earlier, like if that's his truth, then he's allowed to speak it. Like who are these people to tell him that, oh, this is not what happened? Like, you don't even know yourself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree. I agree.
I've noticed that when people of other races come close to this culture or make waves in this culture, that they're looked at as culture vultures. And that never really made sense to me because the people that are usually targeted are either people who had a strong admiration for this culture and wanted to be a part of it, or, you know, people who just grew up kind of observing. You dig what I'm saying? People who have a love for it naturally. And I would never want to discourage that. That's not the goal for me. It's not to discourage that. But calling somebody a culture vulture, and from what I'm hearing, the reason why is they didn't create it, right? Well, if I look at something like sports, right? Basketball, blacks did not create the NBA. Would you call Michael Jordan a vulture? Would you call LeBron a vulture? Would you call Kobe a vulture? No, you wouldn't, right?
And that's 100% facts. I, I understand the term culture vulture when it comes to people like Post Malone. Post Malone is a culture vulture. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Eminem's not a culture vulture. Fat Joe
No.
is not a culture vulture because Eminem has done things for the culture and he's been in it. He's never switched up. Same thing with Fat Joe. Fat Joe has given you Remy, Big Pun, Terror Squad. Damn, they gave you the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? He's not a culture vulture. He's always been in the culture. This whole separation, even though, again, I'm a foundational Black American, I love that I can say that. But at the same time, I mean, let's be real here. Do a lot of y'all even love America like that for you to say you're a foundational Black American? Most of y'all hate America anyway.
No.
Most of y'all, now it went from I'm African American to I'm a foundational Black American. Wait a minute, what happened to that? Oh, you can't say you African American because that means that you're not pure foundational Black American. You can't say you're a Caribbean Black American because that goes against foundational Black Americans.
Yeah.
So what he's saying is absolutely true. The NBA wasn't created by Black people, but Black people use it. We took over.
Mm-hmm.
Are we culture vultures to the NFL and the NBA? Now, I know some people going to say, well, there you was playing basketball in Uganda, and they was shooting hoops, and they had crates on trees. Somebody going to say something like that. It's coming. Trust and believe.
Yeah, I know. It
You know
is.
what I'm saying?
It is.
They was playing underwater ball. Underwater ball. Like, what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Over there in Sierra Leone. But you a foundational Black American. Why are you worried about what's going on over in Sierra Leone? Care? Remember, you a foundational Black American. Don't worry about what happened in Africa, because you a foundational Black American. You know what I'm saying? You can't bring up what they did over there. Yeah. They're not saying that. So that's I understand exactly what he's saying. That's the hypocrisy in the whole thing.
Yeah. Like, speaking of that, right? Here's my thing, right? And, you know, I'm going to speak my truth. I can't speak anybody else's. Here's my thing, right? Like, I was always told that, and I was always told that being born in this country is a reward, right? I was always told it was a reward. My mother used to tell me that this is the land of milk and honey. That's what she used to tell me. She also used to drive the fact that you get your education, you get a decent job, career, so forth and so on. You claim ownership of things. You do things the productive way. That's what she used to claim. To me personally, that's the definition of what a foundational Black American should be. I don't think a foundational Black American should be about separating individuals from your pack or what you exclusively say that this is what it is. I don't think it should be about that. Because if that's the case, then there's going to be a lot of people in your pack that are mixed, but were born in this country, but got 3 or 4 other different races within them that they don't even know about yet. Because let's be clear here. And I believe he mentioned it in his in this video. If you go back, you get arrested by the police, and we both Black. They don't care if you Caribbean American. They don't care if you African American. They don't care if you they don't care about none of that. They all looking at, and I say I don't use this word like that, but I'm going to say today, they all going to be looking at you like a nigga. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? You going to get arrested like one. They going to treat you like one. And I'm not talking about all cops. I'm talking about the ones that basically, profile. That's what I'm saying. They're going to look at you just as that. So all these so-called FBAs that are in the comment section was throwing insults earlier. Why don't you just think about that for a second? Because he already said it in the video, but I'm just, piggybacking off of that. Like, why don't you think about that for a second? Because that is super facts. That is facts. You know what I mean? I got a lot of Latino friends, and the cops pull up on us while we driving, whatever. They are damn sure they ain't looking at who's darker than who or what. If we doing something illegal, we all getting in trouble. That's just how it is, you know? So
Yeah.
But sports and culture, that's I guess some people say there's a total difference. Well, tell that to an Eagles fan or a Cowboys fan. Tell them niggas that shit. But I get it. But again, to me, hip hop is an offspring of black and brown culture. So when I hear people, making these comments or, hating on Fat Joe, or it's the same people that refuse to acknowledge that Eminem is one of the greats. And of course, it's all, it's all perspective, right? You got to understand why people look at the fights people are choosing to pick, and words like racist come up. Discrimination, right? Now let's take Jesse Norman, one of the greatest voices ever in opera music, but she was black, and she was discriminated against. I told y'all earlier, I'm not the type of person that I don't want to take on the role of the oppressors. If I saw that our sister went through that, and it wasn't fair to her, I'm not gonna take that and put that on somebody else. Like, it's time for us to get back. I'm not doing that. I don't want to assume this role. I feel like the world would be 100% better without it.
That's one of the most intelligent things that I have ever heard a person say about oppression. What really kills me, this whole argument, when it comes down to it, is with great power comes great responsibility. We all know this from Spider-Man, right? With great power comes with great responsibility. Basically, what people are saying is, if you are in the position of power, you would do the same exact thing that the oppressors did to you or did to your family. And he's saying he do not want to be a part of that. He's not going to transfer, because what happened to this female opera singer, he's not going to transfer to Eminem. That's basically what he's saying. I'm not gonna put that on Eminem because what happened to her. I'm not gonna do that, because that's me taking on the role as the oppressor. It's so intelligently put, because we are the arbiters, or we run hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Whether you want to say created it or not, black people run the culture of hip hop. And what he's saying is, I'm not going to do that to Eminem, because that means you can't say that I'm different from what they did to that lady back, that opera singer. That was very intelligent. And I think it's going to go over so many people's head. That's why I'm glad I broke it down like that, because people are not going to understand that. When you go against Fat Joe and say that, well, he's not a part of the culture, you are just as guilty as the oppressors that say you are not a real man, or you're not a person, a human being. You're 3/4 of a human, or something like that. You're the same thing. It's no different. No different.
And for those of you who are FBAs or whatever, just like ourselves, right? If you're saying these type of things towards him or Fat Joe, you're no different. You're no different than the oppressor. You're no different than the people that you call yourself trying to separate yourself from. You're no different than them. You're just the same. And I'm pretty sure the real FBAs are not going to want those type of people within their circle. Let's be clear, that's a poor representation if you're trying to gather all the stuff that your oppressors did and you're trying to put that within yourself. That's a poor representation, and a lot of y'all doing that in the comment section. A lot of y'all.
Without that shit, right? Not to say that damn motherfuckers just somewhere discriminating against me. That's not to say that it doesn't exist. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, me personally, I do not want to encourage that type of behavior on anyone else. On anyone else, right? For the record, I just mentioned two people, Fat Joe and Eminem. For the record, Eminem was one of the first superstars to co-sign my expert opinion. One of the first, early in the game, right? And Fat Joe pulling up to a barbershop to chop it up with a battle rapper catapulted my platform like out of here, forever in debt, right? Now, how would I look telling someone who I not only grew up listening to, or not only grew up in the streets that birthed this culture, that they can't speak on a culture?
That's exactly what I'm saying. None of y'all are qualified to tell Fat Joe he can't speak on the culture. Let's just be clear. Everybody that's talking, you're not qualified to tell Fat Joe he can't speak on the culture, because you know what? He done more for the culture than you would ever do.
Yeah.
That is 100% facts. He done more for the culture than you would ever do. You know what you do? You write and complain. That's it. That's it. Who are you to tell this man who moved forward the culture and did things for the culture that you could never do or would never do, or wouldn't even have time? Your girlfriend wouldn't let you do it. She wouldn't let you go to the studio. Your girlfriend wouldn't let you go. Your girlfriend had you hemmed up. You were scared to even rap in front of her. Your girlfriend. Not your wife. The same girl that probably cheated on you and you stayed with her. That girl. You know exactly who I'm talking about. That girl. So all y'all out here saying that Fat Joe, you're not qualified to tell Fat Joe that he can't speak on the culture or hip hop. You're not. You're not. Everybody is with the wind where the wind blows. Last year, nobody was talking about foundational Black Americans. Nobody cared 3 years ago. Nobody said anything about Fat Joe. Everybody was listening to, you gotta flow, Joe. You gotta flow. Lean back. Because guess what? When Lean Back come on in the club, you ain't stopping. You ain't saying, nah, you know what? Turn it. That's a culture vulture right there. Nah. Turn that off. Turn it off. I can't listen to it. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's, no, bro. He ain't foundationally Black. He can't play that. You know what I'm saying? When Big Pun come on, I don't want to be a player. You sing, I'm not a player. I'm just crushing. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. I'm foundationally Black. Oh. You ain't saying none of that.
It's true. It's true.
You don't want to go shady. Oh, I can't say that. I'm foundationally Black.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
True. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Imagine going up to the DJ at the club and saying, yo, you gotta turn that Fat Joe off. He's not foundationally Black.
Turn
the
that
DJ
off.
gonna look at you like, what?
Turn it off.
What? Are you crazy?
Turn it off.
Like,
I'll leave out of here. I'll spin around out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to leave back out of here. What? Bunch of clowns, bro.
Especially a culture that they help catapulting my status in. Like, I grew up listening to Fat Joe. I grew up in the same buildings, ran the same streets with a lot of my Hispanic friends, right? You're right, Math. Appreciate your courage, bro. Sonny, salute. We went to the same schools. We ate the same free lunch. We liked the same girls. You know, we lived in the same conditions. We spent the same food stamps. These were my brothers, right? And maybe us being subject to the same circumstances of poverty, lifestyle, environment, made us ignorant to the differences that people are so... People are overzealous in pointing out, right? They're not black.
All right, so let me stop it there. Another thing too that I think it really makes me mad is, so I grew up in the hood, and you know who was in the hood? Blacks and Latinos. You know who went to the same schools? Blacks and Latinos. You know who taught me how to speak a little bit of Spanish? Blacks and Latinos. Mostly Latinos. You know what I'm saying? ¿Cómo están? Danos bien. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, not a count. You know who taught us this? Latinos. We consumed Latin culture, red beans and rice, baked chicken, empanadas. We consumed that, and they consumed black culture. Fried chicken, macaroni and cheese. You know what I'm saying? We was integrated, Latinos and blacks. If you go to the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, Staten Island, Long Island, Jersey City, Newark, Patterson, West New York, Plainfield, Trenton, Camden, Bridgeton, Millville, Violin, what else? Chicago, anywhere you go, the hood is filled with blacks and Latinos.
Yeah.
So literally, it's filled with blacks and Latinos. So when people say stuff about foundationally black Americans, okay, that's fine. But is it okay for Latinos to call themselves foundationally black or foundationally Latinos, Latin Americans? Is it okay for them to do that? Because to me, if you're going to say that, then it's okay for them to do that. But to me, that only leads to more division. Because it seems to me now like this whole movement to separate us from everybody is only going to blow up in our face.
Yeah.
It's not going to solve anything. It's just going to blow up right in our face. Because at this point, I believe at this point in life, trying to remove us from certain things, it doesn't make sense because there's too many people who are integrated with each other. For example, there's too many people who have mixed children. It's hard for you to do that now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, you bring up a very valid point because where I grew up at, born and raised, Lang City, moved to the Ville. Ville and AC wasn't too much different from each other. You know what I'm saying? You went to the Ville. If you moved to the Ville, Latinos and blacks. No, wait a minute. I got some Latinos, blacks, and Mexicans. There was a lot of Mexicans in the Ville. In AC, it was Latinos and blacks. No matter where I moved to, no matter if I lived in Pitney, no matter if I lived in the Inlet, no matter if I lived in New York Avenue, Connecticut Avenue, it was the same thing. We went to the schools, we ate the same lunch, we did all those things. So at the end of the day, like, we all knew each other. We hooped together, we did all those things. So I'm just trying to figure out where did this division start? You know what I mean? Because I swear to you, bro, like, I didn't hear about this like, I knew we spoke about it on a few occasions before it blew up to be a popular thing. I know we spoke about it. But outside of that, I didn't hear nothing like this until now. Like, outside of that, I didn't hear nothing like this until now. Like, I don't understand, like, where is this, like, this separation is, like, really pulling people apart. This one going in this direction, this one going that direction. I don't get it. Cause I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're the type of person that's trying to get connected or trying to get plugged into something, and there's people outside that are not foundational Black Americans, and you need their signature of approval, I bet you're going to step out of that foundational Black American to get their signature of approval. I bet you're going to do that. Or what you going to say? Oh, I'm foundational Black American. I can't mess with that guy. If that job was giving you $100 million salary, I bet you're going to step out of that comfort zone and go over there and talk to that guy who's going to sign off for it for you. I bet you're going to do that. Am I right or wrong for saying that?
It's crazy. Are we going to listen to a little more and then we're going to finish this up?
So he can't say nigga. They're not black. So he can't say nigga. They're not black. So we can't say nigga. No disrespect to any of you, but growing up, Antonio was my nigga. Hector was my nigga. Victor was my nigga. Alonzo was my nigga. Cito was my nigga. And, you know, we had the same feeling towards each other. Like, you my nigga, I'm your nigga, we rolling. I can't, like, I never, the nigga that y'all wanna keep exclusively for Black people is the nigga I don't like. The nigger that y'all wanna keep exclusively for Black people, in the same fashion as the KKK wants to keep that exclusively for Black people, that's the nigga I don't like.
I've been saying that for 100 days and nights. I've been saying that. Y'all want to hold on to something that an oppressor gave you and then complain when someone else uses it. No, this is mine. I'm the nigger. You're crazy.
Yeah.
You can't
I
use
said
that.
I said the exact same thing before.
It's
yup.
crazy. I
Yeah.
honestly think that we put too much. I'm just gonna say this, man. Black people need to stop acting like they're victims. They need to get out of this whole thing, man. Like, we're so caught up in the way things are said in words. Who cares? Who cares? Like, for real. I'm not saying that it should be okay for white people to go around and call black people niggas. But I'm just saying, like, if you are Puerto Rican and you grew up in the hood with me and you went through the same things I went through, and to break it down, Latin blood does kind of come from black blood in some cases. And someone, if they use the term nigga, why is it bothering you? Now, somebody said to me, one of my friends called me and said, yeah, man, Fat Joe should be using that word anyway. I said, nigga, you grew up in the suburbs. What are you talking about? You grew up in the suburbs.
Yo, not to cut you off. You know what somebody in the comments section said? They called Fat Joe a white Latino. That's what they said. He's a white Latino.
Man, listen, man. This is some
I
of
was
the
like, what?
stupidest things people be saying is out of control.
I said, what? I was like,
White
huh?
Latinos, bro. You never heard of them? Yeah, because he's light skinned. So what is a light skinned black man? He's a white black man. Like what? What are we talking about? How are we even arguing over this? Like, why are we even discussing this?
Oh my God, bro.
Yo, I'm telling you, man. Listen, man. I'm gonna let him speak a little more, and then we're gonna close this out because this way you like an hour in.
Yeah.
I don't like that nigga. I don't like that. But in New York, and I know if you're from the South, if you're from a different place, you just wouldn't understand it because when that nigga was used on you, it was used on you because you was black. For us, in growing up in the same environments and listening to the same music, that nigga was a term of endearment. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just trying to get y'all to understand why it's so weird to y'all and it's weird to us, the way that y'all respond to this shit, right?
I know what he's saying, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna let him go. The only reason why it's weird to them is because it's really not weird. A lot of these people, they do things on purpose because they're sociopaths. They purposely want to burn things down. It's nothing they really don't care about being people using the word nigga. It's just, I just want to interject. I'm gonna tell you something, bro. In fact, I'm gonna let him go and then we gonna end this.
You from New York, you know what I'm saying. Everybody in the chat that's from New York, you know what I'm saying. I used to hate that on social media, they used a Timberland boot. They used a Timberland boot as like an identity icon for New York, right? I used to be so mad at that. Like, what the fucking Timberland? I mean, I get it, but then I realized there ain't really no other identity icons for any other state. Like, there's not. Niggas got sandwiches and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
Well, it used to be.
So
Cali used to be the Jerry Curl. You know what I mean? Jerry Curl and Shades. Easy E look. That was Cali. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes New York different. And I like that we're different. I like that we're different. And if you're from New York, you should like that you're different. We just got a different outlook on shit. So I don't understand the fake outrage about how a Puerto Rican kid from the Bronx who grew up on the same streets that birthed hip hop, like, I don't understand the outrage on how he talks. A lot of us.
And I'm gonna end it there. You know what it is? It's not the fact that people hate the way he talk. What people have selective outrage, and a lot of people feel as though that they're in their feelings when it comes to what Fat Joe said. When he said, yeah, there's some of these FBA niggas, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Bunch of dumb, broke niggas, da, 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 da. I think that people felt like he was talking about all black people. I think he's like, oh, man, see, this is what it is. And then they double down on it like, yeah, man, this is FBA. We FBA, man. You crazy? You don't be talking about us like that. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's what really bothered them was the fact that he was talking down not to black people, but he was talking down to the FBA, the movement. Now, I want to say this. I think a lot of people online are liars. And a lot of people, what they do is they create their own narrative so they can feel right. Because it's all about, it's not about the truth. It's about people feeling right. They don't care about the truth. They only care about they want to feel right. So they'll create a whole lie, or they'll deliberately leave things out so they can get people on their side. And then what they'll do is, when the truth comes out, they'll pretend like they didn't even know either. And that the whole time, they knew the fucking truth. But they want you and this guy and that girl to side with them. So they make up something, or they don't give you the full story. The same thing with police brutality, right? I'm not sitting here saying that police don't do things to people, because the police does. But it's the same thing with police brutality. Police brutality, what happens? You know what I'm saying? They say, oh, the police be beating on people, right? Then the news pick it up. And what did the news do? Black man was assaulted by a white cop. And you like, oh my God, I can't believe it. This is crazy. And then you come to find out that wasn't even what happened. Not to say it doesn't happen, but the narratives are being pushed. So when it comes to things like what he's saying about Fat Joe, I see people online saying that Fat Joe, he been calling people niggas and he's racist and he's a white Latino. And it's like, wait a minute. Let me get this correct. So now, all these years, we're deciding to take the word back from Latinos now. So now Latinos can't say nigga. See, before, it was only white people, but Latinos can't say it now, even though we've been calling them niggas for years. Now Latinos can't say nigga. Wait a minute. That's going a little bit too far. A little bit too far.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? Because,
right, yeah.
I mean, you've been kicking the word around forever. Now all of a sudden, you want to say, no, you know what? That's our word. Give us that word. You can't say that. You crazy? You grew up in the hood, so what? You can't use the word nigga. What? You look white. So even though he's Latino, now, so what's going to happen next? All light-skinned black people can't use the word nigga. You look too light. You're too light-skinned. You can't use that word. It's like, what are we doing? It's just a stupid thing that us as black people need to let things go. That's something that we should not be fighting about. We should be trying to fight on how we could get some land of our own and own it. That's what we should be fighting for. How do you get more land for black people? We're fighting over Fat Joe being called a white Spanish person. What? I don't know.
Yeah, man. It's weird to me, and I feel like it's gonna be this is gonna be one of them topics that's gonna continue to trend and be weird at the same time, because like nobody's gonna be willing to step up and just speak their truth. They're just gonna keep it as is, because they think that's the right thing to do, but really it's not. It's really not, Like I don't fault Fat Joe for how he feel. I don't fault Math Hoffa for how he feel. And I remember the last video I said that I only faulted Fat Joe for saying, broke niggas. You know what I'm saying? I only faulted him for that. But he wasn't talking about all black people. He was only talking about either he was talking about just Lord Jamal, which I feel like he was driving his attention towards that, but everybody tried to make it a surrounding factor. You know what I mean? And I don't think that was fair. I don't think that was fair.
I want to say this before you go on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you that's cap, right? Not what you saying, but people are capping. I'm gonna tell you why, right? They know for a fact that when someone say, "Man, you a bum broke nigga," doesn't mean that you're really a broke bum nigga. It's just a talking point that most people use. It's slang. It's lingo. They know that. He wasn't calling black people broke and bums. He wasn't calling foundational black people broke. He was saying, you know how you say like, you know how girls talk to each other? Be like, bitch, that nigga try to talk to me. Is she really a bitch? No, she's not. But it's just basically, it's like I'm cracking on you. You know what I'm saying? They know the difference. If Fat Joe would have if he had wrote a book and put it in the book, yeah, I grew up around black people, and there was a group of black people who really was some broke niggas. They called themselves the foundational black brothers. That would be different. You see?
Right.
But
yeah.
he didn't say it like that. He said it like bunch of broke niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying.
Nah, I get it. And and when I heard him say it at first, like I said, at first, I was saying that he shouldn't have said that. Then when I thought about it and I kept watching the video, I'm like, wait a minute. Like he's not talking about foundational black Americans. He's basically referring that energy to Lord Jamal, but how he articulated it, everybody took offense to it. You know what I mean? So that's when I thought to myself, let me retract that, because like I don't think he was referring to everyone, but man, I just feel like this is gonna be one of them things that's gonna always be unanswered. I don't think that as far as these behaviors, I don't think it's gonna stop. I think it's gonna get worse. I think it's gonna get worse from all walks of life. People are going to continue to drive this narrative, and people are going to just say whatever they want. And, that's just the way it is, man. Like, I mean, look at the stuff that you got people in the comment section talking about lineage. You got people in the comment section talking about lineage. You got the nerve to tell another person they ain't black? They ain't black? You telling another person that they ain't black. They ain't black. What? What? Like it just it doesn't make any sense to me, man. And it's not going to change. I don't see it changing. I'm sorry for those of y'all that think it's going to change. It's not going to change. It's only going to get worse. That's how I look at it. It's only going to get worse because we got the internet and we got all these other things surrounding, so people can basically type up and post anything they want and say however they want to feel. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. Do your justice. Do whatever you want to do. But I'm just saying that when you post stuff like that and you feed it to the universe, at some point in time, it's going to direct right back to you. It's going to direct right back to you because the internet saves everything. So you go ahead and keep posting that. Somehow, some point in time, it's going to come back to you, and you're going to feel you're going to be right in the same position as the people that you so-called trying to separate yourself from. You're going to be in that position, and you're going to see how it feels.
Hey, man. All right, man. Look, we out of here, man. Go on. See y'all. Have a good night, man. Peace, bye.